Sarah and I moved to Brooklyn with the dream of seeing a church established, a church that would be a place for people to seek God, a church that would be a family where people love each other, to be a Christian community that loves and serves our city and our world. God has called us to help people know and to follow Jesus and to cultivate a community that reflects Jesus to the world around us. Williamsburg came on the scene about a decade ago when young artists and entrepreneurs, really trendsetters, culture makers, when they started moving into the neighborhood from Manhattan. The fashion that's designed here, the television and movies that are written and filmed here, the music that's recorded here, really shapes and defines pop culture around the world. Williamsburg has another story. It's a story that's lived out by Italian and Polish and Jewish, Hispanic people, by the poor, by blue collar, by first generation immigrants, really by old time New Yorkers. In this neighborhood, 175,000 people are packed into less than 5 square miles. They share a neighborhood, they live side by side, they squeeze into the same trains. They're trying to find meaning and hope in this huge lonely city. And it's such an important neighborhood and such a densely populated and diverse place. There's really very little witness of Jesus. There just aren't many people here that are following Jesus. God has already gathered about 20 people. We've been meeting in our living room every week to pray, to talk about what kind of church God wants us to be here, what kind of church this neighborhood really needs. And we've been trying to answer the questions, how can we bring reconciliation among the different people groups in our neighborhood? How can we love and serve and embrace the poor? How can we bring God into the cultural conversations that are happening here? How can we best share and reflect Jesus here? It's been amazing over these past few months just to see God begin to give our group the heart of Jesus for our neighborhood and for our city, to really open our eyes to see how we can best love and serve this place.
I think a church that doesn't separate itself from its community, but rather inserts itself in the community, could do so much for people. I think the community is great, but it's also in need of something spiritual, and so it needs God. And so if you could take all of the amazing things coming out of Williamsburg but put God into it, I think it would bring so much hope and joy to people.
If we can just be a place that tries to foster some of that creativity and then bring it down and anchor it into something deeper, I think specifically that could be a really cool way for the church to reach people's hearts in a new way.
Just pray that people would hear the message of Jesus in a new way that resonates with them.
Every place needs a church as living as the church, not just going to church, but being the church, being missionaries, being servants, being ministers of the gospel.
Preaching the gospel and just letting it sit and linger with people. And I think that if we just are bold in preaching it and showing it and living it out, I'm praying that we can just be that church, and that people that are open, that God's opened their hearts to it, will just be aligned, and they'll come and they'll join us.
The new people who have moved into Williamsburg love diversity, love culture, but they're very segregated from the people who have lived here all their lives, the different people groups that live here. And if the church could somehow be a bridge between those two groups of people, I think that would be amazing.
I think you have a bunch of people who are trying to live on mission. You have people from all different walks of life coming together, and you have people that may differ in a lot of different opinions, but they all come together around the gospel, and they all come together around this reflection of Jesus in our everyday lives.
We're upstream, and this is where culture is being created, this is where business is being created, this is where the economy is starting. And so if we're upstream, as a plant in Williamsburg, we get to be part of shaping that, all those institutions and all that art and all that culture that's happening. I mean, think about all the movies that are filmed here and all the TV shows that are filmed here, if we get to be part of shaping that, then that's going to flow downstream into, people's TVs all over the country and all over the world.
When you see the sheer volume of people who have gathered in this neighborhood from every corner of the globe, and when you see firsthand the poverty, the brokenness, the loneliness, the emptiness, you realize that Williamsburg is, in every sense, a desperately needy place. And God has given us the opportunity and calling to plant a church that will share His good news of salvation, His good news of hope, that will bring the love of Jesus. And our work in Williamsburg doesn't just end here. We can reach and impact the world through Brooklyn. I really believe that now is a crucial time for us to invest our energy and our resources into new churches. And that's what we're hoping, that's what we're praying to do, is to be a small but a vital part of a movement of God to bring healing and renewal and redemption to our city and to our world.